If you want to reduce your leg and back pain, then one of the best things that you can do is strengthen your glutes. And today I'm going to show you the best exercise for targeting your glutes while minimizing stress on your lower back. Hey there, I'm a physical therapist with PT Progress. If you are new here, welcome. We make physical therapy easy and accessible for everyone. So if you enjoyed this video, please share it with others who may benefit from it. Okay, so what is the best exercise for strengthening our glutes? Well, it's actually pretty simple and straightforward. It's a variation of a hip thrust with two legs at the same time. So we could call this a double leg hip thrust. But what makes this exercise so special? Well, this is the most efficient way to activate and strengthen our glutes while keeping the lumbar spine in a neutral position. Most of us spend a lot of time sitting, and this puts our pelvis in a slight tilt. This is called a seated position. And if we stay here for too long, our muscles and ligaments adapt to this position and tighten up in this same position. The problem is when we go to stand back up, our hips don't have the mobility to move into the fully upright position, which can cause our lower back to compensate and curve in an undesirable way. This creates abnormal forces on the discs of your lower back, and over time these forces can cause degeneration of the discs and lead to disc bulges or herniations. And this can explain why people who sit all day long tend to have more back pain. So how does the double leg hip thrust help us get out of this seated position? Well, when we perform this exercise, we are actually moving the pelvis into the fully upright position. So instead of hinging forward at the waist like we would with a traditional deadlift, we're hinging backwards at the pelvis, which takes pressure off of the discs in your low back. The double leg hip thrust also helps improve the mobility of your hips by stretching the hip flexors, which are the muscles on the front of your thighs. These muscles tend to get really tight from all the sitting that we do, and they also pull our pelvis into that seated position. So by stretching these muscles, we can counteract all that tightness and work towards a more neutral pelvis. Alright, let's learn how to do this exercise properly. I'm going to show you how to do it without any additional equipment, and then I will show you some options if you want to add weights. Alright, so begin by sitting down on the ground with your feet flat on the ground directly underneath your hips. You can use your hands for support, or you can place them behind your head. Now lift both of your legs off the ground so your knees are bent at a 90-degree angle. You should be feeling a stretch in the front of your thighs and your hips. Keep this 90-90 position of your knees and feet throughout the entire exercise. Don't let your knees wobble from side to side. They should stay in that 90-degree position the entire time. Now from here, we're going to push through our feet and drive our hips forward. Imagine you're pushing the ground away from you. As you do this, you should feel your glutes and your hamstrings working. Your goal is to push until your hips are almost fully extended. You shouldn't feel any pain or discomfort in your lower back. If you do, then you're not pushing hard enough. But if you do feel back pain, stop immediately and try again. Make sure you're hinging at your hips and not your spine. If you need more guidance, place a broomstick or dowel across your upper back to remind yourself to stay straight. When you reach the top of the movement, pause for a second and squeeze your glutes. Now slowly lower back down for a nice slow 3 seconds, and then push back up for a nice slow 1 second. It's important to keep the tempo consistent, so try to push up at the same speed every single time. Shoot for 3 sets of 10 to 15 repetitions. Rest for about a minute between each set. Remember to breathe normally during the exercise. Don't hold your breath. Okay, now let's talk about progressions. How can we make this exercise more challenging and add weights? Well, if you have dumbbells at home, you can hold them in each hand and follow the same exact motion. Just make sure you keep the dumbbells close to your body and swing them from side to side. Another option is to place a barbell across your upper thighs. You can either go with a low bar position, which is my preference, or a high bar position just above your knees. Make sure you pad the barbell with either a towel or a piece of foam so it's comfortable on your thighs. If you go with the low bar placement, I recommend putting the pad just below your crotch area. If you go with the high bar placement, put the pad slightly above your kneecaps. follow the same exact motion, pushing through your feet and hinging your hips forward. For added safety, you can use a spotter or you can use the safety bar collars on the barbell to limit how far you go up and down. I recommend starting with a weight that is challenging but still allows you to maintain good form. Use a weight that is appropriate for your fitness level. If you're a beginner, start with just the barbell only, no additional weights. Also, remember to keep your core engaged and avoid arching or rounding your lower back. Think about pulling your belly button in towards your spine. Finally, don't hold your breath. Breathe normally throughout the exercise. Here's a quick summary of everything you need to remember. The goal is to strengthen your glutes while minimizing stress on your lower back. To achieve this, make sure you keep the lumbar spine in a neutral position throughout the entire exercise. This means you don't want to round or arch your lower back. You should feel your glutes working and you should feel a stretch in the front of your thighs. Don't let your knees wobble from side to side. They should stay in a 90-degree position. Don't push yourself too hard. If you feel back pain, stop immediately and try again. Make sure you're using a weight that is appropriate for your fitness level. Alright, now that you know how to do the double leg hip thrust, you might be wondering how often I should do this exercise to see results. Well, just like with any other exercise, consistency is key. Try to aim for at least 30 minutes of glute training twice a week. This could include doing multiple sets of the double leg hip thrust along with other glute exercises such as single leg hip thrusts or lateral band walks. You can even do this exercise while you're waiting for your morning coffee to brew or while watching your favorite TV show. Just make sure you take breaks in between sets to rest and recover. This will help ensure that you are getting the most out of your workouts and reducing your risk of injury. As you progress and get stronger, you may need to increase the number of sets and reps you do. A good rule of thumb is to increase the number of sets and reps you do by about 5% each week. Just make sure you listen to your body and don't push yourself too hard, especially when you're first starting out. Start slow and gradually build up over time. Another question you may have is whether or not you should do this exercise if you have recent or chronic back pain. Well, if you have recent back pain, I recommend consulting with your doctor or physical therapist before starting any new exercise program. This is especially important if you've recently had an injury or surgery. However, if you have chronic back pain, then yes, you can do this exercise. In fact, it may even help you manage your pain. Just make sure you start slow and gradually build up over time. If you ever experience any pain, discomfort, or unusual symptoms, stop the exercise and consult with your healthcare professional. Finally, I want to mention that there are many other exercises that can help strengthen your glutes and reduce back pain. The double leg hip thrust is just one option, and it's a great one at that. But don't feel like you have to stick with it forever. Mix it up and try other exercises such as single leg squats or lunges or bridges. You may even find that you get stronger and see better results by switching things up. Alright, that's it for today. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and share it with others. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss out on future videos. Until next time, I wish you all the best with your recovery and your health. Stay strong.